Well, the trial of 4 men accused of killing former ANC Youth League Secretary General Sindiso Magaqa will resume in the Pietermaritzburg High Court today. Magaqa was attacked while coming from a branch meeting in Umzimkhulu in 2017. During the attack, 2 councillors, Nontsikelelo, Mafa and Jabulile, Msiya, sustained gunshot wounds. Magaqa died a few months later in hospital. We've got Nontsikelelo Magaqa, our reporter on the story, who joins us now live. Nontsikelelo, good morning to you. Well, before we talk about today's proceedings, please remind us of our viewers of what happened in the trial thus far. Where are we now?
Well, a very good morning to you, Naledi, and the viewers at home. Yes, we are here at the Pietermaritzburg High Court. I must say that, Naledi, this trial, it's at its very early trial stages. And I must say that, you remember earlier this year, between April and May, we heard testimonies from several state witnesses, and amongst them were some of the key witnesses, including Jabulile Msiya, who's one of the 2 female councillors who survived this attack when Magaqa was shot back in 2017 in July. Her testimony was quite interesting, Naledi. She sort of gave the court some sort of an idea as to why Magaqa was killed. There's some sort of a motive behind the attack on Magaqa. In her testimony, if I remember very well, Naledi, she actually told the court that they believe that Magaqa was attacked, he was targeted because he was very vocal about a state corruption that was believed to have been taking place at the Umzimkhulu local municipality. Apparently, he wanted the municipality as well as the Auditor General to investigate some sort of a wasteful expenditure. Apparently, a tender had been issued for the renovation of that memorial hall, and apparently monies that were issued to conduct the job, and compared to the job that was conducted, there seemed to be irregularities in that. She also told the court in a testimony, Naledi, that they also believe that he was attacked because at that time the Herikwala region of the governing party, it was going to sit and apparently stood a good chance of being elected as the general secretary of that region. We had other testimonies as well, Naledi, from Magaqa's bodyguard, Tagabonwa Ngubane, who had just been working for Magaqa just for a couple of months before before the actual incident, who talked about a number of things, about a red vehicle that was said to have been patrolling around Magaqa's house before the incident, and seeing that the red vehicle again at the scene where Magaqa was attacked. Also, another interesting testimony that we heard in April and May was also from Magaqa's friend, who was a police officer, and at that time he was off duty, and he was the one who pointed one of the accused in this matter as the driver of that red BMW, which was believed to have been used as as a vehicle for during the assassination of Magaqa.
Yeah, and of course, this is happening at a time when political killings are also being highlighted in KwaZulu-Natal, particularly as we get closer to the national elections in April, correct?
That is correct, and when you look at Magaqa's attack, Magaqa was attacked even at that time in 2017. Situation was very volatile politically at Umzimkhulu. Remember, there were 2 other councillors, Councillor Tobela and Chibase, who were also attacked, and which is why Magaqa, in the evidence that was laid here in this trial, was that he actually wanted to have his own bodyguards, which is why he was able, to get this the bodyguard Tagabonwa Ngubane. And unfortunately for him, the incident occurred when he had just been working for Magaqa at a time where he had just been working for him just for a couple of months. But also with the defense as well, in his testimony, he received a backlash as to why did he leave his post, because we do understand that when the incident occurred, this bodyguard left his post, and apparently Magaqa had asked him to go and buy specific items for him, of which he said some of them he would not want to divulge before the court, and he got a backlash obviously from the defense, saying that how can you leave your post knowing that at that time in Umzimkhulu especially, situation was very volatile. And also looking at this case, the people who have been deployed or have been asked to investigate the case, it's one of the high profile cases here in KwaZulu-Natal. It's being investigated by a special task team that was established by the president as well as the Minister of Police, to investigate the political killings, not just, here in KwaZulu-Natal, but in the country. So this also falls under those political, high-profile political cases. And obviously the state in this matter is trying by all means, Naledi, to prove that Magaqa's attack was politically motivated.
Yeah, I mean, this has certainly been a story that has been watched very closely by the public. I mean, around the death of Sindiso Magaqa, you certainly saw a lot of public participation, protests against political killings. Outside of the courtroom, are the numbers still there, Nonjabulo?
Well, you know what, I think, because this matter has been going on for quite some time. You remember Magaqa was attacked in 2017 in July. He died a few months later. That was in September. Police were only able to make an arrest. It was around about towards the end of 2018, another arrest in 2019. So throughout those years, we have been seeing a large number of people protesting outside court. Even Magaqa's family, calling for justice, and most of them calling for the masterminds, because some of them believe that the masterminds are not amongst the people who are actually appearing on this trial. But unfortunately today, probably maybe it's still too early, maybe it's the first day, but we haven't seen, anybody in outside court protesting. But I can tell you something, Naled, in this case, almost every day, since it had the trial started in April and May, we've been seeing a large number, especially from, the ANC officials just coming in, sitting at the public gallery just to listen to the proceedings. But at this point in time, there's no form of demonstrations that are taking place outside court.
Yeah, just quickly, the program, what it looks like, when we're expecting proceedings in court then to kick off.
Well, we've been actually told that the proceedings are expected to start at 10, although not much is expected to occur today. But what we are expecting, especially from the defense as well as the accused, that is accused number 1, 3, and 4. You remember on the last occasion, the legal representative had said that they are going to be withdrawing from this case, citing financial difficulties, from these accused. So the court had given them some time, these couple of months, for them to just sort themselves out in terms of getting their legal representation. So today, Naledi, they are expected, to report back to the court, to the judge, as to how far they've come in terms of getting or securing a legal representation, or whether they're going to be using the services of Legal Aid South Africa. So that is what is expected. So I don't think there's going to be any form of evidence, Naledi, that is going to be heard in this matter today, but it's just a report back so that the court can be able to set itself out in terms of when they are going to resume with this trial. But we spoke to NPA as well. They did say that they've always been ready to continue with the proceedings. They've said that they do have a list of witnesses on standby, and we know that they have a list of about 60 witnesses. And so far, Naledi, we've heard testimonies from about less than 8 witnesses from the state, which means that it's still going to take quite a long time before the state could conclude the leading evidence in this matter, before the defense could take over and lead its own and just try to defend these accused in this matter.
Yeah, I think that because the case has been going on for so long, perhaps it's important for us just to remind the viewers what we know about the 4 accused. I mean, you mentioned that a lot of the discussion even in court has been around who the masterminds are, but let's talk about the 4 that are facing the murder charges. Just remind us how much we know about them, if you will, Nonjabulo.
Well, yes, you'd remember that this matter, it started all the way back at Umzimkhulu, a magistrate's court on the southern part of KwaZulu-Natal. These accused, they were arrested on different occasions. One of them was arrested in 2018, towards the end of 2018, and the other 3 were arrested in the beginning of 2019. We do know that some of them are business people. One of them is a former police officer, but you'd also remember remember, at that time when they were arrested, there were some other ANC officials as well who were arrested, including the late Mluleki Ndobe, whose charges against him were provisionally withdrawn. So we do know that, these men have been, part of some of the tenders. I would remember when we were at Umzimkhulu at that time, when they were still trying to apply for bail, they did talk about the fact that, they were depending on tenders, not knowing whether, these tenders were the same tenders which, the court has heard evidence about, especially about that Umzimkhulu Memorial Hall and the renovations and the wasteful expenditure around that tender. But we do know that these men were men who were said to have been business men, as well as one of them being a former police officer.
Yeah, let's leave it there, Nontsikelelo. Thank you so much for the update, and we expect that you'll, of course, keep us updated throughout the day. That's our reporter, Nontsikelelo Magaqa, speaking to us there from the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Of course, following the story of the trial of 4 men accused of killing former ANC Youth League Secretary General Sindiso Magaqa. And, of course, expanding on that story, we have our reporter, Ayanda Mhlongo, who was looking into the Mwerane Commission that was established back in 2016, really to probe the root causes of attacks on political leaders. So we'll keep you updated on really how this matter is being looked into.